How did the United States of America acquire Florida from Spain in 1821? Before we answer this question, let's explore this state's historical context. Spain first colonized Florida in 1565 when it founded St. Augustine. While the settler population was small, Spain slowly expanded its influence, building a handful of coastal settlements in Florida. After losing to the British in the Seven Years' War, the Spanish gave Florida to the British in 1763 to regain the more important city of Havana, Cuba. During this land exchange, most Spanish Floridians moved to Cuba. In their place, British settlers arrived and began expanding agriculture and building new infrastructure in the state throughout the 1770s. As the American colonies revolted against Britain in 1775, Florida, more closely aligned with other British Caribbean colonies like Jamaica or Barbados, stayed loyal to the crown. After the American Revolution ended, Spain was given back Florida in the 1783 Peace of Paris. While Spanish authorities administered St. Augustine and Pensacola, most of Florida was unguarded and lawless. Because of this, North Florida became a haven for escaped slaves, who began blending African American traditions with the indigenous Seminole culture. In addition to runaway slaves, American settlers began entering West Florida throughout the first decade of the 1800s. In 1810, these settlers rebelled, defeating the Spanish garrison in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, then part of West Florida. A few months later, President James Madison annexed the territory, claiming it was part of Thomas Jefferson's 1803 Louisiana Purchase from France. The next episode of American expansion came into Florida during the War of 1812. In this war, Spain sided with the British against America. By 1813, American troops had annexed the Mobile district of Spanish West Florida, now the coastal region of Mississippi and the Mobile district of Alabama. After the War of 1812 was over, the unguarded border between East Florida and Georgia continued to be a problem for the Americans, who were angered by the large number of slaves escaping and joining the Seminole tribe. Since Spain refused to act against the Seminole, the U.S. Army, led by Andrew Jackson, made increasingly frequent incursions into Spanish territory throughout 1817 and 1818, the most extreme of which culminated with the Americans taking over the Spanish fort at Pensacola and exchanging cannon fire with the Spanish before withdrawing. After Jackson's incursions into Spanish Florida, the Spanish were initially outraged, but eventually decided to let the Americans control Florida for three reasons. It could not afford to fight the American army due to a bad financial situation, it had been struggling for years to administer the region, and finally, Florida was not a profitable colony for Spain, making its loss negligible for the empire's long-term economic outlook. For these reasons, Spain signed the 1819 Adams-Onís Treaty. This treaty ceded Spanish claims to the Pacific Northwest, set an agreed-upon Spanish-American border in the southwest, and paid Spain 5 million Spanish dollars to sell Florida to the United States. This treaty took effect 3 years later, when America began administrating Florida in 1821. At this point, Florida would be on its path to statehood, which it achieved in 1845. We started this video with a question. How did the United States of America acquire Florida from Spain in 1821? The answer? America acquired Florida from Spain by slowly increasing its cultural and military influence over the region. Ultimately, America was prepared to control Florida one way or another. Understanding their stagnation in the face of America's rapid growth, Spain agreed to the Adams-Onís Treaty of 1819 because it let them leave Florida on favorable terms. Please let me know if this video helped you understand the Adams-Onís Treaty. Thank you for watching.